Is Israel indiscriminately killing civilians? And what's the difference between fighting Hezbollah and Hamas? Take a look at this clip over here with Piers Morgan talking on the Trigonometry podcast. So we'll watch this clip together and then talk about it. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Check this out.
The other thing I wanted to ask you is, and it's just, we're exploring the arguments. Why you've used the phrase indiscriminate bombing repeatedly. Why do you say it's indiscriminate?
I'll give you an example. Say they get information there's one Hamas terrorist. Right? I saw Dave Smith use this analogy, so let me give him the credit for it. If somebody murdered one of your family, okay? Horrible hypothetical, but let's assume this has happened. And you get told that one of the people who was responsible is living in a tower block with 150 people in it. Do you think it's justified to go and blow up the whole tower block and kill 149 innocent people as you kill the one person who is responsible for the loss you've suffered?
There's a calculation in the laws of war where there has got to be some proportionality. There's got to be some taken of account.
Do you think there's been any proportionality now in Israel's response?
Well, what
I mean, 1,200 people got killed.
What I'm asking you
over the 7th. We're now up to maybe as many as 100,000.
But Piers, with all respect, that's a terrible argument. Because,
is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
That's a terrible argument.
I don't think it is.
It is, because way more Germans were killed at the end of World War II than British people were killed, and yet we bombed Germany into the ground because we were defeating them, right? I think that is a terrible argument, but I'm trying to find out why you say it's indiscriminate. Indiscriminate means they don't care if they're just bombing a civilian building, they're just trying to flatten Gaza. Is that what you think is happening?
70% of Gaza has been flattened.
Yes.
In what way would you not think that suggests a degree of indiscriminate bombing?
The reason that people would challenge the idea of it being indiscriminate, for example, Andrew Fox, as I mentioned, who has a very nuanced view of this, as we found out, he was saying that when he was in Gaza, what he saw was that Hamas adapted their tactics as the war went on, and when they realized that the Israeli IDF was going house to house, they then did the evacuation themselves. They pulled the civilians out and then booby-trapped every single building. So the destruction of a lot of buildings is evidence of the fact that a lot of them are booby-trapped, and that's why they're being destroyed.
I'm sure some of them were.
He made the point that more bombs have been dropped on Gaza than the number of people who've been killed in Gaza, which kind of tells you that it's his argument, not indiscriminate. So that's the only reason I'm asking. And I'm genuinely just wondering.
I've read some of the 5-6 times as many bombs have been dropped in totality than the total power of the 2 nuclear bombs dropped in Japan. I mean, you know, what is indiscriminate? To me, you can argue that indiscriminate means you don't care at all. I wouldn't go as far as that.
Okay.
But I would say that the way they have gone about targeting sometimes individual members of Hamas that they believe are in a cafe and they just blow the whole cafe to pieces, that shows in my opinion, a reckless disregard for civilian life that is around that one person. And again, I come back to the Hezbollah thing. Why is it that they can target Hezbollah and dismantle Hezbollah in such a brilliantly sophisticated surgical strike manner, which does not involve destroying Lebanon or wiping out 100,000 Lebanese people, you know, killing 20,000 Lebanese children? Why is it they're capable of that there, but they're completely incapable of any other war strategy here, when most people believe, who know Hamas, that this was all part of Hamas's plan, that they knew when they did what they did, this is what would happen?
Because the argument would be, and by the way, I have family who come from Lebanon, is that Hezbollah are concentrated in one particular part of Lebanon. They're not concentrated.
Well, Israel didn't blow it up.
But if you look at Gaza, it's very, very densely populated, and Hamas are physically embedded within that.
Sure.
They have consciously embedded themselves, as we all know, within the civilians.
Sure.
So it's almost impossible to be able to target them.
But if Hamas is showing such a spectacular disregard for its own civilian life, then I would argue that you should always, if you're in Israel's position as the only democracy in the region, and you've got the biggest military in the region, it's even more incumbent on you not to be as reckless with civilian life as the people that you're going after.
So one thing that's important to know is that even though Hamas and Hezbollah are both radical Islamic groups that are set on terror, they have a similar ideology in that they want to destroy anyone that's not like them. The situation on the ground when confronting Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza are two completely different methods, are two completely different situations. Israel's aim isn't worse in Gaza. The battlefield is much worse in Gaza. Fighting Hezbollah is like swatting a mosquito in an open field. You're trying to swat the mosquito. You can hit the target without hurting anybody else. Fighting Hamas is like swatting that same mosquito, but in a crowded elevator. And Hamas put those people in the elevator there on purpose. The civilians that Hamas that are killed with Hamas are put there specifically in order to create more death. They hide in the schools, they hide in the hospitals, they hide in the apartment basements so that any strike is sure to kill innocent lives. That's not precision failure on Israel's part. That's Hamas engineering civilian casualties for the sake of propaganda. You see, for Israel and normal Western countries, every civilian casualty is a tragedy. When it comes to Hamas and groups like it, every civilian casualty is a strategy. It's a strategy to garner world attention and world sympathy, and as it's the only tool that they have in order to defeat Israel. Unfortunately, a lot of Western countries and Western media buy into the propaganda that they're purposely trying to manipulate. So again, for Western countries, for Israel, for the United States, that the reason that there's such an uproar is because every civilian casualty is a tragedy. But for Hamas and Hezbollah and groups like it, every civilian casualty is merely a strategy. If you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.